Today's an absolute tragic day for the city of Charlotte and for the profession of law enforcement.
Chaos. Chaos. Nothing but police jumping out of their cars with the guns drawn. They bust. Oh my God.
So man, there's some shooting going on. Man, we ain't never had nothing like this.
There was about 50 cop cars, and it happened in under 2 minutes.
This was a brutal attack on these officers who were merely trying to serve a warrant.
And we come on the air tonight with breaking news as yet another law enforcement officer has died following this afternoon's shootout in East Charlotte. CMPD confirming Officer Joshua Eyer has passed away tonight from his injuries. We're also learning the names of 2 of the 3 others who died today. You see their photos there as well. They are Sam Peloche and Alden Elliott. Both were Department of Adult Correction veterans assigned to the U.S. Marshals Carolinas Regional Fugitive Task Force. 4 other officers are also wounded this evening. We thank you for joining us. I'm Vanessa Rufus.
And I'm Colin Mayfield here at CMPD headquarters in Uptown. It has been an extremely long day, not only for the city of Charlotte, but a very trying and difficult day for CMPD and all the other law enforcement agencies that serve and protect here in Charlotte. It was just a U.S. Marshals Task Force team trying to serve a warrant at a home in East Charlotte when they were shot upon. We have team coverage tonight of this deadly shootout, the entire ordeal. We're going to go to WCNC's Charlotte, Tricia Woodard, in just a second, who's not far from us at a courthouse where there's already a makeshift memorial. But first, we're going to start with WCNC Charlotte's Julia Kaufman to bring us all the latest breaking details that we learned, especially from that press conference in the 9 o'clock hour. Julia?
Colin, I am at Atrium Health, Carolinas Medical Center, which confirms it's treating law enforcement officers who were shot today. It's also offering emotional support for their family and colleagues as today's shooting causes unimaginable grief and trauma. The Charlotte community is mourning the loss of 4 law enforcement officials as the nation watched Monday's events in horror.
And the most that I can ask of our community is that we honor and respect them for all the work that they've done, all the work that we will do to make it possible for our city to be safer.
Monday afternoon, gunshots rattled this East Charlotte neighborhood after the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force attempted to serve a state arrest warrant for possession of a firearm by a felon. Police say when officers approached a house on Galway Drive, a suspect started shooting at them. Officers returned fire and the suspect died. As they approached him, police say someone from inside the house started shooting at them.
The individual that was set up that we were serving the warrant on was the individual who fired the initial shots and was deceased in the front yard at the end of all of this.
The standoff forced neighbors to shelter in place and 4 schools to go into modified lockdown. When police cleared the scene, they say they found 2 people inside the house, a 17-year-old and a woman who are, quote, persons of interest.
We're trying to determine now what exactly occurred inside of the residence.
Roads around Novant Health and Atrium Health were shut down to make way for emergency vehicles coming from the scene. CMPD says a total of 8 law enforcement officials were shot. The U.S. Marshals Service confirms one of their marshals was killed, along with 2 other task force members who were parole officers. CMPD officer Joshua Eyer, who was critically injured, died at the hospital hours later.
We'll always be indebted to Officer Eyer for his bravery and his sacrifice for this profession.
As Vanessa mentioned, we now know the names of 2 more victims tonight, Samuel Peloche and William Elliott with the Corrections Department. Our hearts go out to the victims' families and the officers who are recovering tonight. Live at Atrium Health, Julia Kaufman, WCNC Charlotte.
Yeah, Julia, you said it best, rattled. I think that's what the entire city is feeling tonight. We do want to get back to that memorial that is growing at the courthouse. Tradisha Woodard has that. And Tradisha, it just brings to mind and to memory what Mayor Vi Lyles said earlier today, that she wanted the community to come out and honor and support. And we're seeing that already, Tradisha.
That's right, Colin. Flowers and plants have been placed here outside of the courthouse in honor of the lives lost. Take a look. Give you a better perspective of what we're talking about. We saw one earlier. You can see just a few more plants have been placed since then. Now, I've spoke with folks who live in the neighborhood where the incident happened, and they say there's only one word to describe what happened today, and that's chaos.
I heard 3 shots, and I was like, all right, somebody's shooting. 30 seconds later, I heard like 7 shots. And I was like, dang, maybe they got a new gun. 30 seconds later, I heard like 10 shots.
They busting.
Bullets screeching through the air.
I have no idea how many gunshots I heard. There was a lot, and it seemed to only make the cops run faster at the scene.
The active gunfire from a suspect inside an East Charlotte home, and law enforcement officers later led to a lockdown near Galway Drive. The lockdown causing massive traffic delays and many people waiting for hours to get inside their homes.
It's hot. You can't get in the house. You can't get in or out.
This street was blocked off. They had all of this blocked off. We had to walk down here. My car is all the way up there.
Some neighbors told me hearing gunshots in this neighborhood is not uncommon, but seeing a heavy police scene like this is very unusual.
It was the largest police presence, as you can see, I've ever seen in my entire life. This is scary. I could hear the gunshots happening.
As neighbors express their concerns for crime, they say they're also sending prayers for those who lost their lives in this gunfight. A fight where 4 law enforcement officials were killed, killing parts of a community and a country, too. And emotions continuing to run high tonight, not only from residents who live in that neighborhood, but also from residents all across this community, city leaders, county leaders. It's a tragedy. Reporting for WCNC, I'm Tradisha Woodard.
Yeah, Tradisha, a day that many of us hope to never see again, and a day that many of us have never seen, as the chief said earlier today. So we had crews spread out over the entire city today trying to get the information to you. And we had crews obviously in our newsroom doing the same thing to bring you the correct information. And then we verified it for you on air as well. So now that things have settled overnight now, we want to give you a complete timeline of everything that happened earlier today.
At 1:30 p.m., members of the U.S. Marshals Task Force were serving warrants at a home. That's when the shootout started. 15 minutes later, CMPD issued a severe alert, warning people to stay away from the area. At 2:08 p.m., we learned multiple victims were taken to area hospitals. It took until 3:12 p.m. for Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools to confirm to WCNC Charlotte that 4 nearby schools were on lockdown. That lockdown was lifted finally at 3:41. CMPD sent out an update at 4:56 that officers had cleared that residence, and at the same time, CMPD confirming the death of a suspect. Then at 5:53 p.m., CMPD confirms in a press conference that 3 task force officers were killed. At 9:40 p.m. in a news conference, Police Chief Johnny Jennings confirms that a 4th life was taken today, Officer Joshua Eyer.
So there are certainly more questions than answers tonight, Vanessa, and I think many people, their prayers are just with those families, those 8 officers, the 4 obviously that were taken from us today. It's hard to put into words what today not only meant and felt like, but there's a lot of work to do on the back end for the investigation as well.
Indeed. Yeah, such a sobering day for so many folks, this entire community in mourning. And you're right, Colin, we are hearing from so many people who are giving their sentiments. We are just now hearing from President Joe Biden, who has issued this statement saying this. Earlier today, 4 brave law enforcement officers, including a deputy U.S. Marshal, were killed in the line of duty. They are heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice, rushing into harm's way to protect us. We mourn for them and for their loved ones. He also added this, quote, "We must do more to protect our law enforcement officers. That means funding them so they have the resources they need to do their jobs and keep us safe. And it means taking additional action to combat the scourge of gun violence." Tonight, the reaction continues to pour in from other officials, all levels of government. Governor Roy Cooper actually came from Raleigh to Charlotte tonight to be briefed on the devastating news. Here's what he had to say.
It reminds us of the fact that these officers every day when they go out, whether they walk up to a car, whether they serve a warrant, violence can happen to them. And this was a brutal attack on these officers who were merely trying to serve a warrant. There really aren't words that you can say, because obviously the families of these officers who've lost their lives this afternoon are in shock and despair.
And so just as we're seeing so many people weighing in on social media, the governor said that he's hearing from other governors and people all over the world who say they are praying for our community. And meantime, we are seeing some thoughtful sentiments come in from other officials, like, for example, Senator Phil Berger, who tweeted this earlier, or put it out on X rather. "The news out of Charlotte is tragic. Law enforcement officers are some of the bravest people in our country. Praying for all officers involved and their families." We're also hearing from North Carolina Speaker of the House Tim Moore, who posted this on X tonight. Today's tragic shooting in East Charlotte that involved Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers and U.S. Marshals is utterly devastating. I hope you will join me in prayer for our law enforcement and their families right now. And so many people are weighing in, but also saying that they want to help tonight. Speaking of which, here, nonprofit Back the Blue North Carolina has started a GoFundMe to assist those affected, and it is raising money quickly. So far, in fact, it's raised almost $10,000, as you can see. We do have a link to the GoFundMe inside our WCNC Charlotte mobile app.